What is up, YouTube? Today we are doing part 8 of my homemade lathe project. Now, it's taken me quite a while to finally get some Acme threaded rod. I ordered this off of Asheville Bolt and Screw, and because this is 3/8, it took like 2 weeks for them to order it, because 3/8 Acme threaded rod is kind of rare. They don't really make that often, and I really had to search everywhere to find 3/8 Acme threaded rod. So I'm kind of lucky that they had this, and it took a long time for them to find it. So and I kind of, when I first went there and ordered it, I ordered left-handed Acme threaded rod. They looked for it. A week later I went back like, hey, you haven't called me back, and they're like, okay, we can't find left-handed. It is twice as much as right-handed Acme threaded rod. So I'm like, well, it's twice as much. Plus you can't find it, so you know, might as well go with a right-handed threaded rod, which is normal threaded rod. On a normal lathe, they use left-handed threaded rod, so when you turn it one way, it moves out. Unfortunately, this is going to have to be backwards, just like it was with this cheap threaded rod. And as you can see, it took me a little I tried to unscrew this, and I ended up snapping this off and bending the crap out of that, and I could not budge this. I couldn't even unscrew it, so something really went bad with that. Not sure what happened, but yeah, something didn't work. Something bound up in there. I think maybe some little chips from the aluminum may have gotten in there, and that's what maybe gunked up the threads. I can't really imagine that those threads would gunk up by themselves to where it was almost impossible to unscrew that. So finally got some Acme threaded rod. All we really have to do is now, unfortunately, because I needed to buy the threaded rod, 6 nuts and a tap, because the way I designed it, I need to make basically that piece, this piece, bolts on the bottom of this piece, and that of this piece, and that is what grabs it and moves it back and forth. So I needed to buy a tap for this Acme threaded rod. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't find it, and he had to find a company that was willing to make it from scratch, and he quoted me a price of $600 to make a 3/8 by 8 Acme tap. Now, there's absolutely no way I'm spending $600 on a tiny little piece of metal Acme tap. There's no way I'm doing that. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take one of these nuts that I bought. I think these weren't cheap. This whole thing, the threaded rod and the nuts was $60. So the threaded rod was the cheapest part. This was only 20 bucks. The nuts was $36. So yeah, not cheap for these little things. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take one of them, grind it down a little bit, and then weld it on a little piece of plate to basically make that. I'm gonna have to grind it down to where it's the same size as this, because there's not that much clearance in between these two plates, and this thing's kind of it's a pretty big nut. So I'm gonna have to grind it down and weld it to a little piece of plate. If I screw this up, I'm gonna have to go back there and order a couple more, and it's gonna take me a couple more weeks until I get this video out. So I cannot screw this up. Hopefully I don't screw it up, but I'll take my time, and hopefully it'll work. But should be simple enough. After I get that little piece, all I gotta do is just slide this thing on, just like that. Cut it to size, and should be perfect. The cool thing about this is it's perfectly true. With this cheap stuff, I kind of had a bit of an issue because it was warped and it wobbled. So therefore, every half turn it was like really hard to turn, but like half of it was easy to turn. So it really didn't work that well. So I'm kind of glad that I was forced to buy the Acme threaded rod for this. So yeah, should be simple enough. Alright, so I got the new Acme threaded rod on here. I got almost as much play out of this thing as possible. Right now it's pretty solid. I don't feel anything moving around. Nothing's moving around. It's able to move back and forth pretty easily, which is awesome. Got everything oiled up. I have this bolted down really tight. So I found out that the half-inch cutters that I bought, I think I bought like 37 of them for 50 bucks on Amazon. These don't work that well. They're cheap, they're garbage. They work for aluminum pretty well. Here's a piece of aluminum that I turned with this cutter, and as you can see, it's actually not that bad. The finish is not that bad. So with these work for aluminum, but when I go to steel, let me find something that I cut with it. Here we go. It doesn't really do that well. That right there was pretty bad, and then I tightened it up, got rid of some more play, and then I turned that right there. And that's actually not that bad. It's for a, homemade lathe, it's not that bad. So I got rid of a little bit more vibration. We're going to use one of these smaller cutters, which is sharper, and we're going to turn this. I bought a lot of this stuff at the scrapyard for only $5. So we're going to turn this and face this off and see how well of a cut it can do now. Alright, so I'm filming this with my GoPro Hero Session. I'm filming it at what was it? Hang on. WVGA at 120 frames per second. I haven't really tried this frame rate yet, so we're going to see how well it does. Also, I'm not entirely sure if I have this thing pointed in the right place so you can see it, but I'm hoping for the best. So I'm going to probably edit this and not speed the footage up, because a couple of you said that last time I recorded this. Don't speed the footage up because you guys want to see what it does in real time. So not going to fast forward this. So let's see how well this thing does. No idea how fast this should go because I'm not going by RPM, I'm going by a treadmill miles per hour. I'm hoping there's enough light on here so you can see it. They seem to get rid of that, no problem. So far, not that bad of chatter. Let's just get rid of this right here. Not that bad. There's a little bit of chatter there, but not that bad. Let's do a full cut. Add a little oil, because why not? that bad. I mean, pretty smooth. But what I'm trying to compare it to is a normal lathe you would buy, and which is kind of ridiculous because it's just not going to be anywhere near as good as a normal lathe, but still I'm striving for perfection. As you can see, my cutter is slightly below center because I got that little thing right in the middle. So, which you kind of want it below center more than above. So, I think that's a pretty good face cut. Let's just do that, get rid of the sharp edge, and let's look and see how well this thing did. Alright, so that cut was pretty good, but I want to see what this thing can do on the side. So let's do a side cut. Let me move this to right there. Tighten that up. Reposition this. And then I'll move the camera. That looks pretty good. Now, see if I can move this. Alright, I'm hoping that's good enough. Get some light right there. Alright, so let's see what this thing will do on the side of the metal. I went really slow there, and there was a lot of chatter, but overall it doesn't look like that bad of a cut. Let's do it again. A little bit deeper. That doesn't look that bad. that doesn't look that bad at all. Alright, so let's see how that turned out. There was a little bit of chatter, or, you know, I was talking through while I was cutting it, so hopefully you could hear me with that camera. Not sure if you could. If you didn't hear me, I didn't really say anything that important, so I decided to do a face cut and a surface cut. I think that's what you call a surface cut. And it's not that bad. I mean, really, for a homemade lathe, it's not that bad. I do have this little nipple right in the center where my cutter is a little bit too low. I just need to raise it up like a hair. It's a really small thing right there, so it's, you know, it's better than having the cutter too high. Too high, then there's really a lot of chatter. Anyway, this is a better surface than this. This is not so great, if you can see that. But then again, for something homemade, it's pretty damn good. I mean, you know, it is pretty good. So there's like really nothing that a file can't fix. You know, if I really want a smooth surface, I'll just get a file and file this down until I get a smooth surface. That's really all I can do with this. The chatter is something where I really can't get rid of it with something that's homemade. I could get rid of it, but it would take me hours and hours of fine-tuning and all that kind of stuff. So for now, this thing is pretty good. I need to figure out if I want to rebuild the headstock to where I can fit a 1-inch piece of steel down the center, replace this 1-inch piece of steel with a 1-inch inner diameter by 2-inch outer diameter piece of steel, so therefore I can fit stuff in the middle and cut a lot larger stuff. I also need to build the tailstock to where I can actually drill into stuff with drill bits. So still need to do that. This thing is definitely not done. It's not even close to being done. But for now, it'll turn stuff, it'll make decent cuts, and I'm pretty happy with it. For something that I maybe spent like $300 or $400 on, this thing's actually working a lot better than I expected. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Next part of the lathe will be whatever I want to work on next, whether it's the headstock or the tailstock. But I'm gonna finish the video right here. Yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe and have a nice day.